El Paso with Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social pages, including Facebook.com/Talk El Paso, at Talk El Paso on Twitter, the Talk El Paso channel on YouTube, or Twitch at Andrew J. Polk. Either of those names, Talk El Paso or Andrew J. Polk, because that's me and that's the show. Find it in all those places, and probably a few more, to be frank here. So, a lot of stuff to talk about today, but in case you all were not paying attention to the calendar here at all, we are in Thanksgiving Eve. Okay, that's not really a thing, but okay, we're the day before Thanksgiving here, so we're going to be off the rest of the week there to celebrate and have you all celebrating. So, this is the day we are doing that free-for-all show. Open lines throughout the hour, so you can call into 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM, and more specifically, bring up any subject you want. Just remember those FCC guidelines that are always there. We always have to think of them anyway. So just keep that in mind, but we'll take it on. A bunch of stuff to talk about in the meantime. Updates coming ahead of the holiday and filings. A lot more clarity starting to emerge about certain things that we would pretty well tell are coming, but also even more rumors swirling here when it comes to these next elections. So we'll get into that here in just a bit. So remember, that number to call is 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. And, just get it off your chest before you head to the holidays. If you already had the family in town, I hope that's worked out for you. We're planning a low-key one ourselves here. Trying a new method myself that my family is dubious about of cooking the turkey. If anyone asks about my recipe, I won't bore you with it otherwise. But, yeah, so a lot of stuff to talk about here. So let me just, before we get to the phone lines here, get to some of those, what I just teased anyway, about filings going on. We do finally have Texas Governor Greg Abbott has officially filed for his reelection. No big surprise there, but if you even go over to our website, ktsmradio.com, there's reports out that, that the dark horse candidate, I guess is the way I'm going to put it here, because I'm not even sure which side he's necessarily going to declare for, Matthew McConaughey, the actor who has some strange connections to El Paso in a variety of ways, if only in presentations that are very controversial. He has shown up in with, no input on his own there. Not his fault, but reportedly telling the Hollywood Reporter that he has thought about running for governor for 20 years, and then pointing out that he does have December 13th as that deadline there to make a commitment. He says he will make an announcement, quote unquote, shortly about what he plans to do. All right, my cloudy crystal ball, my best prediction is going to be that he is going to say, I'm not going to run, but I'm going to throw in my support behind, the assumption would be the major Democratic candidate, but, who knows? I'm not taking any bets on exactly what's going to happen, but that's the inclination that I've got here. Maybe going independent, or maybe even saying, you know what, Abbott, I'm taking you down. Stranger things have happened in these races here, and again, an increasingly crowded field for these primaries coming up for a lot of these top-of-ballot elections, including lieutenant governor, including what we got going on for attorney general is just a chock-full field. But also do want to mention there that since we've been hearing from, our current elected officials a decent amount lately, that we did have the official filing over at the El Paso GOP party headquarters of Irene Armendariz Jackson. We're going to try to run again and get out of office, sitting Congresswoman Veronica Escobar. So that filing, and I'm sure will be, particularly after the holidays here, really starting to get into that as we get the filing periods and stuff like that. So that's some of the things going on here today. But let's go ahead and get to those phone lines. Again, that number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. We do have Ben on the east side with us right now. Ben, thanks for joining us.
Yeah, just two things I'd like to say, and thank you, Andrew. I hope everybody has a really great, wonderful Thanksgiving.
Oh, absolutely.
First, to all of my fellow American citizens, give thanks to God tomorrow that you are an American and that you have the privilege to live in a land like no other in the world. And we need to protect that privilege by protecting and defending our Constitution at all costs. Second, I would like to ask a question that everyone should ask themselves and others. What is your vitamin D level? I've talked about this before, but it's been a while. And you need to ask yourself what your vitamin D level is. If you do not know what your vitamin D level is, find out from your doctor what it is. Do not accept that, if he says that your vitamin D is okay, ask him what the level is, because if your level is over 50 or above, the chances of getting COVID or getting a bad case of COVID is very, very low. And one more thing, and I've talked this about before, is that people of color have notoriously low vitamin D levels. And if they're not taking a supplement, their levels are I'm sure are very low. So ask your doctor what your vitamin D levels are.
That's a very important point there, and happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Hope you have a great one.
Thank you. You take care.
You too as well.
Stay well, and God bless.
Absolutely. I mean, I know that there are conversations happening about the whole origin of this holiday, the mythology that surrounds it, but you know what? None of that is why I go about celebrating this, to be perfectly honest. I mean, sure, it's an occasion that's on the calendar, but I mean, as a time to come together, celebrate and talk about things that's important. But to your larger point of vitamin D, I look at two primary ones since the pandemic has gone on: vitamin D and vitamin B. Got some, okay, this is not medical advice. Do not construe it as such. I am not a doctor, nor has this come in that way, but I got some advice from people who are in the field that, particularly around your time of getting the vaccinations, get vitamin D, and vitamin B is helping with the response. And I've just kind of kept that up myself here. I do the gummies because that's what my family likes, to be perfectly honest. So that's what I keep up with. And I take those pretty well daily, and it's worked out pretty well for me so far. So anecdotal, not scientific evidence, but that's just been my experience there. So one of the ways to your further point there about making sure that we keep and have our country is paying attention to these elections. I mean, that's kind of like basic boo-boo when it comes to dealing with these issues. But there's, of course, a whole lot of people in our area who aren't even doing that. So I'll take it. So we'll talk more about these coming out of the, out of the holiday here as well. But don't forget, we are taking those calls throughout the hour now. That number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM, as we will be off for the holiday here. We'll have some replacement programming in place, but then be back for, well, it's not technically the first full week of December, but that week right there. So we're going to take that break here real quick, come back with more of those calls and comments on the line here. John Brosnan chiming in amongst others. So stay tuned. More Talk El Paso after this break here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Let us know what you're thankful for today. Why not, as we're ahead of the holiday here. So back after this break with more on News Radio 690 KTSM. Something that I am often thankful for is the local producers we have in our area that are making great products, great things, and supporting our local economy. And I try to give back in that way by going out and supporting it myself. One of the ways I do that is whenever I can find a local product, particularly one that I really love, I definitely want to shout it from the rooftop. Something I've been drinking for a while now is Clever Tea, KLEVRTEA, as in the stuff that you drink. I was never a huge sweet tea drinker before this. I mean, yeah, I have it on occasion. You find it around a lot of places here. But I was either kind of a hot tea or a soft drink kind of guy. And this has changed my mind because their Oolong Wise blend, which is a delicious blend of coconut, pineapple, hibiscus, eucalyptus, hawthornberry, and cinnamon, whole ingredients going into this. And if you get it pre-made in the bottles, comes with just the right amount of sweetness with monk fruit. So it's not that sickeningly sweet and also not just tasting like dirty water, which has been some of my previous experiences here. Avoid all of that by getting this. You can get it for yourself in boxes, make it yourself, sweeten it just the way you like, and get the benefits of increased focus, added energy, without the jitteriness. That's key for me. So you can find them online at clevertea.com or head to their location. They're going to be having some of their grand opening sneak peeks going on of their new location that's over in Central El Paso, just south of I-10. And you can find it online, clevertea.com, including an event going on today until 7 p.m. Go and try it for yourself, see the team and what they're doing here in El Paso. So that's clevertea.com, KLEVRTEA.com.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
The good news is there aren't many wrecks on your freeways. However, there is some slowing. I-10 eastbound between Artcraft and Thorne, it's slow. I-10 westbound, beginning at Lee Trevino over to Yarborough, it's slow. And again from Mesa Street to Thorne. Also, a crash on Montana Avenue eastbound east of Trowbridge at Magruder. I'm Wendy Swanson, and that's El Paso traffic.
This report is sponsored by SmartMouth, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use. Date night. You check your texts, your hair, your smile. But wait, did you check your breath? Get SmartMouth, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with just 2 rinses a day. Find SmartMouth in the mouthwash aisle at Dollar General or get 20% off at smartmouth.com/radio.
Help the planet with a tip from iHeartRadio Earth. Water heating can account for up to 25% of the energy consumed in your home. Save money and energy and improve the comfort of your home by turning down the temperature of your water heater from 140 to 120 degrees Fahrenheit. It can save you up to 22% on your energy bill annually. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Hello, everybody. It's Al Roker from The Today Show. I'm really excited to tell you about my new project, Cooking Up a Storm. We're whipping up a complete Thanksgiving feast with the help of some of my friends like Ina Garten, Marcus Samuelson, and more. Grab your apron as they spill the beans on family secrets to get you ready for the holidays. Search and listen to Cooking Up a Storm now wherever you get your podcast, or watch Wednesdays and Fridays on Today, all-day streaming on today.com.
Support those important organizations and small businesses in our community with a charity event, toy drive, and beer release on Black Friday. Head to the Three Missions Brewery Beer Release fundraising party at 10179 Socorro Road, starting at 5 p.m. for a great kickoff to the holiday shopping season by giving back and getting something too. Live DJ and local bands, food available from Tacos El Goms and Casa del Humo, and support the Alzheimer's Association, El Paso Fighting Hunger Food Bank, and Toys for Tots. Brought to you by Thrive 915 Food Fest, Just the Tip LLC, and Three Missions Brewery. Follow Thrive 915 Food Fest on Facebook and support local. Hey folks, this is Andrew J. Polk. I'm all about local, and El Paso-based Clever Tea is changing how to stay refreshed and focused in the borderland and beyond with a masterfully crafted blend of hand-picked oolong tea infused with crisp pineapple, creamy coconut, and more in every sip with just the right amount of sweetness. Find it in boxes and bottles at the Brown Street Market, CBD Vita, Upper Valley Mercantile, House of Hoops, and Muscle Confusion Gym, and Cooking Time. Or order online and find special discounts at clevertea.com. That's KLEVRT.com.
I love the holidays, but I don't love being roommates with my siblings again. That's why I skip all the screaming matches and stay at Red Roof, so I can truly celebrate and relax in my own comfortable, clean, affordable room. Pets stay free at Red Roof, so I can bring Fido and decompress after a long day of small talk with the family without breaking the bank. And this season, you can get up to 20% off. Book your own space at redroof.com.
News Radio 690 KTSM El Paso.
It's often said that health is wealth, and make an investment in yourself by being sure to tune in every Saturday, including this one, to the Medical Hackers with Dr. Sandeep Rao, airing Saturdays at noon right here on News Radio 690 KTSM. He's a board-certified vascular interventionalist, and he talks a lot about minimally invasive procedures, the stuff he does in his own practice, and related ones, plus what are the developments, the latest procedures, innovations, and how really to navigate our complex medical system. Be an advocate for yourself and a smart consumer of medical services, because being informed about what you got going on, particularly inside yourself, pretty a smart idea. You can even submit your own questions ahead of future shows by emailing rao@medicalhackers.com. That's RAO @medicalhackers.com. And a lot of other things that we'll be talking about coming up here in the coming days and weeks. So be sure to tune in again Saturday at noon right here on News Radio 690 KTSM right after the El Paso History Radio Show.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. The pre-Turkey Day special, I guess, is kind of a way to put it. In any case, we have moved up our free-for-all open lines throughout the show here for this week, taking them throughout the hour here today. So that number to call full up at the moment, but the number is 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. A lot of things we're talking about here today. Elections always on my mind, at least, and we have some interesting developments going on there with state and local major elections, getting some developments and candidates going on. But we'll take on your subjects from here today. Just remember those FCC guidelines, please. I don't want to have to reach over and press the swear button it's always a little nerve-wracking when we do. People chiming in over on the social pages, including John Brousett and Calvin Williams and more. One of the better ways to leave your comments throughout the show there. It's its own level of conversation throughout. But, again, that number to call, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. So let's jump back into the lines here right now. We do have Andrew on the west side right now. Andrew, thanks for joining us.
Yes, just wanted to point out a couple of things. What's coming out in this Build Back Better bill, and people should be aware of it. One of them is hiring 87,000 new IRS agents. Okay. And then this $10,000 a year transaction fee. Well, folks, just paying your rent, and the average rent in El Paso, from what I could read, is $800 a month. So just paying your rent every month has to, at the end of the year, would have to be reported to the IRS. Next thing, what that's going to do is raise your banking fees. So don't be surprised if sometime in the future you'll see your checking account fees go up from $5, $10 a month to $20, $25, or $50 a month. Also, I wanted to say another thing concerning Robert Francis O'Rourke running for the governor's mansion. He says he endorses the Second Amendment, and that people in Texas have brought up this permitless carry. Well, folks, just remember that 40% of the states in the U.S. allow permitless carry. That's 20. 21 if you include New Mexico. New Mexico allows permitless carry if it's open carry, and you're 19 or over, and you're not a criminal. Also,
Important
concerning
caveats,
what Ben said on from the east side about the privilege of being in the U.S. Well, if you're born in the U.S. or you're a lawful permanent resident, it's a right to live in the U.S., not a privilege. Anyway, have a good evening and happy Thanksgiving, folks.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you as well. Thank you for those points there. Yeah, New Mexico has an interesting set of gun laws there. This is not legal advice. I'm neither a lawyer nor a doctor, so don't treat me as such. But New Mexico, I kind of like the way they do it. Yeah, open carry is legal. Concealed carry still requires a permit. But also your vehicle is considered an extension of your home for all that entails when it comes to using it. So again, you check for yourself if you're planning on implementing any of this. Talk with the relevant legal authorities if you're going to be taking any action based on that. But that's what I do anyway. So I appreciate that aspect of it there in New Mexico, which is why part of the conversation going on during the endless legislative session that we had around these bills, I was kind of thinking like, okay, so we're just kind of catching up and slightly surpassing what we saw across the border from us here in New Mexico. So this is one of the reasons we like to have these local conversations, so we can get down to real nitty-gritty, the stuff that actually affects us here, because if we just had talking points, talking heads, that kind of stuff, you miss a lot, and I mean a lot there. So, yeah, anyway, taking those calls throughout the hour, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Right now, we do have Nate on the east side right now. Nate, thanks for joining us.
Yes, good afternoon, Andrew and the El Paso audience. Thank God for each and every one. I do thank you for this privilege to share my views for just a minute or so. I want to start by saying God bless our great nation and the people throughout, certainly in our community. And I just want to remind people that still is whatever flaws or weaknesses that you may define in our country, it's kind of hard to stand by and watch people who bash it and want to tear it down and different little things, because people are trying to come in, they're not trying to leave. And that's just a message in itself of that. So I ask us to stay strong. And meanwhile, what we should be watching, I'm looking at the trends almost every day. We're having a shooting in our safest city in America now. We're having, I was at UMC yesterday. I'm not bashing that, but I'm just simply saying, oh my God, the emergency room was just like a beehive, you know? It's just, we need to put a finger on what exactly is going on around us and look at what a great nation that we have. And if we all find fit to contribute to it in whatever way we can, it will be even greater. But not to tear it down, because there's none other like it. There's nowhere else to run to. There's no place else to run to. God bless you, and thank you for all you continue to do, Andrew.
No, appreciate it. And yeah, happy Thanksgiving to you as well there. I mean, it's it's an important thing. So kind of going off with the previous call as well on that subject of living here in America, being a part of it here, it is, I'm going to say it's both all at the same time, a right, a privilege, and an obligation, because any system, I mean, this country is not something etched in stone that we just inhabit. It's something that is constantly, reflected by the people who are a part of it and the maintenance that they have to do on it, because none of this stuff is just going to, if everyone just abandons it, doesn't pay attention to it, leaves it alone in the wilderness for 100 years, it's not still going to be there, because that's not how a country works. Sure, the laws, the papers, the documents, but the country is the people and the things they do to keep it up. Really, that's what it comes down to, because you wouldn't call, we call countries that don't have people in them anymore ruins for the most part. So it takes people doing stuff to keep it up, whether it be, voting, running for public office, really ideally being that level of involvement, having these discussions, being a part of it. So given the whole Thanksgiving table trope that we're approaching here, that discussion of it, I kind of reject the idea that in polite company you're not supposed to talk about, politics, religion to an extent, but I mean, I'm given what we do here, I'm focused mostly on politics. I kind of reject the idea that no, you don't talk about that stuff nicely. There's ways to talk about these things that don't end up leaving you, at, fisticuffs, essentially. I mean, maybe if, the rum's been out for a while, consider it again. But the real art of this, for me anyway, comes down to being able to have an actual conversation and not just saying, okay, it's my way or the highway, because that's not a conversation then. Now, is it? Being able to actually talk, exchange ideas, evaluate them differently, and again, if it comes down to it, agree civilly to agree to disagree, are important things that have been missing for a long time, I think. Part of the reason, frankly, we do this show is to be able to have these discussions, deal with issues, and then, the marketplace of ideas come out with what's best. If an idea should be able to stand on its own merits there, as opposed to just, this is what I think, and I'm never going to agree with anyone else. I mean, sure, there's plenty of people out there, and I'm sure you'll experience some at your Thanksgiving table as well, but I find that not interesting at best anyway here. So I think we have time for one more quick call before we hit this break now. We do have Raul in the Northeast here. Raul, thanks for joining us.
Hi, Andrew. Well, I want to give thanks to my parents, for the parents that I was born to, and when I was born, in pretty good times for them, and where I was born in El Paso, Texas, where I didn't feel discriminated against, and where my parents taught us to be proud of our heritage and culture. I think life is a lottery, what I call the cosmic crapshoot. I think it's a lot about the zip code one is born into, besides the decisions one makes. And no one chooses their parents, the place they were born, or the times they were born into. In the lottery of life, my little sister and I and all my family hit the jackpot with good parents who provided us with lots of love, great lifestyles, many opportunities, a great extended family of aunts and uncles and cousins, and many family members, padrinos and comadres, muchos amigos and amistades. So very thankful for that. I'm thankful for my wife, Stella, for taking me into her life and loving me. And I'm thankful that in my wife, I got a good mother, a daughter, cousin, worker, and citizen for a wife. And I thank everyone who has loved me and made me feel welcome and valued. And I want to thank all the good people in America who have worked to make America better, who do their jobs, pay their taxes, and treat others as they would like to be treated. Thanks to the inventors, the innovators, the entrepreneurs, the fighters for social justice. And last but not least, to the many great teachers that I've had, especially the Jesuits, who taught us respect for the world, to learn from experience, to develop our personal potential, to think critically and communicate effectively, to appreciate both things great and small, to commit service to others, and to especially be concerned for the poor and the oppressed, and to take the international global perspective. When you look around, again, I feel very blessed because there's still a lot of hurt and pain and poverty and injustice in this country. We've got a long way to go. I feel sorry for today's generation because our country is truly troubled. Thank you very much.
Well, sure thing. Thank you for that perspective here on this day before Thanksgiving. I think that even in recognition of issues that are within this country, and which is why I kind of disagree with the whole, my country, right or wrong, but still my country. Like, I both agree with that and disagree with that. I agree with it as a sentiment that, yes, this is our country, then that you should work on it. But I disagree with it from the standpoint of therefore nothing should happen, nothing should change. When it comes to inaction, frankly, in all of these subjects and discussions that we have about, what's wrong, what's going on, whatever it comes down to, and therefore we should do nothing. That's almost always the wrong answer for me. So when it comes to the issues, it's undeniable that, again, a decade of great uncertainty is the way I've chosen to put it more recently than not. It makes me even more thankful in these days of what I do have, and makes me want to work even harder to make sure that that continues for myself and for posterity, as was essentially what we were founded on here. So we're going to be taking that break right now. Coming back from the break, we will get to more of the comments and calls on the line here. So if you do want to call in, that number to do so, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Doing it throughout the show here today, so call in, take your comments and calls. Back with more on Talk El Paso. Another way to take care of your health is knowing where to go when you need those treatments for minor medical emergencies. With the holidays firmly here and the whole holiday seasons, the gatherings, the family time, the gift giving, you don't want to miss out on a second of that, as much as you can anyway. But if you run into those day disruptors, those aches, bruises, sprains, breaks, sniffles, illness, whatever have you, that just kind of stops you in your tracks and leaves you wondering, okay, what do I do? Have that peace of mind by knowing that the Upper Valley Urgent Care Center team, Dr. Carpenter and his folks, will be ready for you 7 days a week, 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., walk-in basis. It's been what my family and I have turned to when we have those what do we do now kind of questions. And for those minor medical treatments, it's who we go to and who we've trusted for that. And they've been trusted for over 15 years here now in El Paso, celebrating their 15th anniversary earlier this month. They are a VA-authorized urgent care provider as well. So they are ready and available for you when you need them, particularly on those holidays. 121 East Red Road, Upper Valley Urgent Care Center.
El Paso's News Radio, 690 KTSM.
Hello, everyone. This is Robert Olguin with your KFOX 14 News Update. A 6-year-old boy has died after being mauled to death by a dog in Mesilla. This happened Monday morning. Doña Ana County Sheriff's deputies responded to the scene at Fillmore Road in Mesilla at about 9:48 on Monday. Officials say the victim was a 6-year-old boy. Paramedics performed CPR and he was taken by helicopter to an El Paso hospital where he later died. The city of El Paso will close several of the city's COVID-19 testing and vaccination sites for Thanksgiving, but the drive-through testing site at the county sports park on 1780 North Zaragoza will be open half day from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. on Thanksgiving. This has been your KFOX 14 News Update. I'm Robert Olguin.
News Radio 690. Traffic all day.
Slow freeway traffic this afternoon as people try to travel out of town for the Thanksgiving holiday. I-10 westbound is slow from Geronimo to the 54. I-10 eastbound slow from Artcraft over to Thorn. And the 375 also moving slowly southbound from Vista del Sol to Rojas. We have a medical emergency on Zaragoza at Don Haskins. I'm Wendy Swanson, El Paso Traffic.
From the KFOX 14 Severe Weather Center, this is Chief Meteorologist Sandra Diaz. We've seen the clouds moving in since yesterday, and now as we get through the night, we're going to continue to see a chance for some rain. There's about a 30% chance for some rain, but the bigger story here will be our diving cold front arriving in the morning of Thanksgiving, really adding to the chill with strong gusty winds. A wind advisory is in effect from 2 a.m. to 11 a.m., and don't forget, there will be some much colder air moving in as well.
This report is sponsored by Panera. Panera believes in saying yes to the good things. Yes to chicken sausage and pepperoni. Yes to flavorful tomato sauce and rich cheeses. And yes to putting it all on a crispy flatbread. The new sausage and pepperoni flatbread. Order on the app today. Panera. Live your yes. Restrictions apply.
Now may be the perfect time to buy a home financed by Loan Depot. Loan Depot has over 300 loan products to help you make home ownership a reality. Interest rates are near historic lows. Rates will not stay low forever. So call 866-888-LOAN so one of our thousands of loan officers can help you find the right loan. Call 866-888-LOAN or visit loandepot.com. Loan Depot. Rates are subject to change. Equal housing opportunity lender. NMLS number 174457. Licensed in all 50 states.
Are you Medicare eligible? Do you have questions about your benefits and how they can work? Advocate Health Advisors can help you understand all the benefits you qualify for, including dental, vision, hearing, and transportation, just to name a few. They can provide you with a no-cost, no-obligation review. To get more information about your options, please contact Eric and Angie Lowenberg with Advocate Health Advisors in El Paso at 1-800-876-0214. That's 1-800-876-0214. Don't miss out on Talk El Paso Monday through Friday, 4 to 5 p.m., breaking down the big stories right here on News Radio 690 KTSM. Brought to you in part by Therapeutics and Thermography. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk, live weekdays on Talk El Paso on News Radio 690 KTSM.
Opening back up. You check the news, you check with your friends, you check your mask. But wait, did you check your breath? Get Smart Mouth, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with just 2 rinses a day. Find Smart Mouth in the mouthwash aisle at Dollar General or get 20% off at smartmouth.com/radio. This report is sponsored by Smart Mouth, the only 24-hour mouthwash with twice daily use.
Always just minutes away from the latest news around town and around the world.
You need to know what's going on.
News Radio 690 KTSM. El Paso's News Radio 690 KTSM.
It's always a good time to focus on your health, particularly when it comes to those real serious issues that can crop up, including breast cancer. The awareness month may be over, but again, always a good time to know about it and know the tools that are available right to you, including that is thermography, a tool that is available back in town now that lets you understand what's going on beneath the surface before even other methods can detect it. It's got some serious strengths and FDA approvals behind it, so you can find out and still claim your $50 off your breast thermogram by calling Therapeutics and Thermography, Inc. They're located at 935 Sunland Park Drive inside Biometrics, but their number to call is 915-401-4053, 915-401-4053 to find out the details and to schedule your own, and again, claim that $50 off benefit through the end of the year. Also, find them online at elpasothermography.com. That's El Paso, TheRMOGRAPHY.com.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for joining us here for Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thanks for tuning in, however you may be doing so, be it on air, online, live streaming through the free and reliable iHeartRadio app, or joining us over on the various social pages that we are on, including Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Talk El Paso or Andrew J. Polk, me as the host, that's the show name. Either of those places, either of those ways, all of those places, you'll find us and be able to join in on that conversation as we have a bit of a lively one going on over here. Nice while it lasts is all I'm going to say about some of the comments here with the thankfulness. If you want to really jump in for yourself, Facebook.com/Talk El Paso is where the Skeptic Squad lives, where, or society as it's sometimes called, is not a whole lot of agreement to be found, but always an interesting discussion. But maybe that's just me, where we have John Brazelton, Louis Pinato, Leroy Chuck, Epifanio, Yanni, Calvin Williams, Raul as well. Wade in at your own risk is the way I'm going to say. I'm not saying there's sharks in the kiddie pools, but there's definitely some fins poking out. But a lot to talk about here today because we are doing that open line show for a week here ahead of the holiday, as we'll be out of the office the last 2 days of the week in celebration of such. So we'll still have new programming going on there, some replacements, but this is the time when you can call in throughout the entire show. That number to do so, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Had a call come in off air right now. Make sure they got the right number. Don't forget, you got to dial that 915 from any line in our area nowadays. I guess having gone to college out of state, I've just gotten used to that as a matter of rote. All my numbers, everything written down, always includes the area code, but we got to do that nowadays. So 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Talk El Paso also brought to you in part by Monterey Asset Management. If you're tired of the ups and downs of the stock market, consider investing in real estate. Monterey buys apartments in El Paso and helps investors buy, hold, and sell property. Check out their new website, m1ep.com. That's m1ep.com to learn more about the many benefits and long-term appreciation of investing in real estate. Call Certified Property Manager Ray Baca at 915-592-4549. That's 915-592-4549. Thank you to our sponsors. Please support them as they support us in our mission to continue having live local talk radio here in the borderland. And to that point, we have that new partnership that we have announced going on with Thrive 915 Food Fest and the Texas Restaurants and Food Trucks Facebook pages out there. They're going to be having an event out at Three Missions Brewery on Black Friday starting at 5 p.m. I'll be out there as well because they're doing a beer release, a charity drive, and a little bit of local shopping, local food, things like that going on there. So you can find it yourself by visiting Thrive 915 out on Facebook. Put up that link on our socials here in just a minute. But, it's a good way to kind of kick it off, give back, get something back. They'll be doing drives, a ball for the Alzheimer's Association of West Texas, based here in El Paso. Also, Toys for Tots, and the El Pasoans Fighting Hunger Food Bank. So you can bring non-perishable food items, be entered into things for the consideration going on for the Alzheimer's Association, and new unwrapped toys for Tots, along with, a little bit of fun, a little bit of partying, a good way to maybe relax from, maybe Black Friday is becoming an actual thing again. I don't know, maybe get into that here a bit. Did want to mention that we've had some recognition from both the city and the county, here is the right way to put it here, as a December 4th as Buy El Paso Day. So we talked a little bit about Small Business Saturday on a previous show here. So Buy El Paso Day is the one that is now coming up here on Saturday, December 4th, coming from the Better Business Bureau of El Paso, and again being recognized by both the city and the county on that thing. It's an important one. Just kind of really amplifying that whole shop local, shop small, shop your area, and shop the places that you want to see continue. I got to say, there's plenty of excitement when, big, new, shiny things come into town. Not that this is in any way sponsored or anything, but just driving around over by the Westtown Marketplace, the, what is it? The new coffee shop out there, the name I'm blanking on now that I'm trying to think about it, Dutch Bros is what it is, has just had lines out the parking lot ever since it opened, including drove past near 11 the other night, and that place was still packed. What y'all doing getting coffee at 11 p.m.? But I digress. Point being that, it's easy to be excited, and people often do, about, the new things, the things that aren't in town, but don't sleep on the things that are already here that you may have forgotten about. I always regret, because I can't even count the amount of times when I see something close, change, even before this whole time period, of thinking, oh, that place, I meant to go there, but never did, and that's probably part of the reason why it closed. I hate that feeling. I hate it when it happens. So, I don't have a perfect record or anything, but whenever I can, I try to shop local, locally owned, locally operated, locally run, as much as possible, just because you kind of create your reality around you, don't you, by supporting what you want to see. And if you want to see it, but actually supporting it, you're not exactly in control of how it's going to be happening there in the future. Anyway, due for another break here right now. Coming back from the break, getting some of those pound 250 calls and more of the comments and calls on the line here. Again, that number to call is 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Doing that whole free-for-all thing here on Wednesday. Open line start the show ahead of the holiday, so get it off your chest before you maybe blurt it out in impolite company or whatever you want. Talk to you after this break. More Talk El Paso. Particularly with those family gatherings, you want to make sure that your home is inviting, hospitable, and not awful to be in when it comes to the temperature. I have space heaters scattered around my house for those little bits, but when it really comes down to the chills, the freezes that we've already started seeing in the forecast and been experiencing here to an extent, you don't want to be wondering if your system is up to the task for a variety of reasons, including the efficiency of it. If it's just barely chugging along, but guzzling that fuel in the meantime, not a good way, and your pocketbook is not going to thank you for it. But also the safety aspects that come about it. It is something that is definitely needing to be looked at, frankly, because if you don't know the problems that could be cropping up there, and frankly, the efficiencies and the safety measures that that may or may not be there, get rid of all of that doubt and have a happy holiday season by calling the air conditioning company at 915-842-8615, 915-842-8615, or logging on to airconditioningcompanyllc.com. They'll get you fixed up right, saving you money and on loss of peace of mind. Airconditioningcompanyllc.com.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Fire crews are on the scene for a medical emergency on George Dieter northbound at Les Peterson. Also, watch for a wreck on Montana Avenue. It's eastbound east of Trowbridge at Magruder, and another collision on Zaragoza at Don Haskins. Slowing from I-10 westbound from Geronimo to the Patriot Freeway. I'm Wendy Swanson, and that's a look at your El Paso traffic.
This report is sponsored by Panera. Panera believes in saying yes to the good things. Yes to mac and cheese. Yes to topping it with cheesy Parmesan crisps. And yes to putting it all on a sandwich. The new grilled mac and cheese sandwich. Get $1 delivery when you order on the app. Panera. Live your yes. Restrictions apply.
There's nowhere to run and nowhere to hide. Just plenty of places to watch and listen to Dateline. Catch all new mysteries Friday nights on NBC and next day on Peacock. Binge the latest episodes wherever you get your podcasts. And night or day, stream Peacock's Dateline 24/7 channel. There's no escape from Dateline, the true crime original.
I love the holidays, but I don't love being roommates with my siblings again. That's why I skip all the screaming matches and stay at Red Roof, so I can truly celebrate and relax in my own comfortable, clean, affordable room. Pets stay free at Red Roof, so I can bring Fido and decompress after a long day of small talk with the family without breaking the bank. And this season, you can get up to 20% off. Book your own space at redroof.com.
iHeartRadio Earth is here with little tips for a healthier planet. Aggressive driving, such as speeding, rapid acceleration, and hard braking, can lower your highway fuel economy by up to 40% and cost you up to $1.27 more per gallon in gasoline. Save money and reduce your transportation emissions by avoiding aggressive driving. Brought to you by iHeartRadio Earth and the National Environmental Education Foundation. To find more tips for smarter, sustainable living, or to take action in your own community, go to iHeartRadio.com/Earth.
Hi, Phil Swift here for the Flex Seal family of products. You know, there's a lot of ways to protect your home. You could dig a moat. You could bubble wrap it. Or you could train a pack of wolves to protect it. But the best way is with the Flex Seal family of products. So when you need to patch, bond, seal, repair, and stop leaks fast, get the Flex Seal family of products. Available at FlexSealProducts.com and fine retailers.
Date night. You check your texts, your hair, your smile. But wait, did you check your breath? Get Smart Mouth, the only mouthwash that provides 24 hours of fresh breath with just 2 rinses a day. Find Smart Mouth in the mouthwash aisle at Dollar General or get 20% off at smartmouth.com/radio.
Monterey Asset Management, superior multifamily property management services citywide.
News Radio 690 KTSM.
Live from the KTSM AM 690 studios, it's Talk El Paso with Andrew J. Polk. To be a part of the show, call 915-544-KTSM or follow on Facebook at facebook.com/Talk El Paso. Now here's your host, Andrew J. Polk.
Thank you all so very much for staying tuned here to Talk El Paso, airing live on News Radio 690 KTSM. I'm your host, Andrew J. Polk. A lot of stuff we're talking about here today, but we'll take a couple more calls before the end of the show here. That number to do so, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Ahead of the whole holiday here. We will be out of the office on Thursday and Friday here in celebration of that, back live on Monday, so don't worry. Some replacement programming going on for you there, and apparently, I love the discussions that go on here, even if I maybe don't necessarily love what actually being talked about here. Calvin Williams, thankful for the show here. Appreciate that. And then going to 2 hours, unless you know something I don't think anything official has been put out along those lines here. So as soon as something happens along those lines, be sure to talk about it. Don't worry, because, we want to be talking about El Paso here, but thankful for the thankfulness of the show. Anyway, can you be thankful for thankfulness? Well, I'm trying it out. Anyway, here. So if you want to call in with what you're thankful about or last thoughts here before the end of the week, the number to call again, 915-544-5876, 544-KTSM. Thankful in a lot of ways for, this show, the audience that we do have here, and the discussions, the discussions that people are having about the issues that affect us here in El Paso. Amongst other things, one other thing I wanted to bring up that we have fallen off just a little bit is that the Socorro ISD is doing their whole search for a new superintendent as well, even as we've had the EPISD one. It's more or less set at this point. I'm not at all surprised. So something that I've been meaning to talk about here, now seems as good a time as any, is that they are seeking input on their survey here. And so specifically, they're going to be doing that through the December 10th here. And then we're going to be having an application after December 15th through more or less the middle of the next month in the new year, and then candidate reviews happening after that. So they've got a decent timeline set out there. Particularly if you want to go look it over from our news partners over at the El Paso HeraldPost.com. I mean, all of that stuff is impacting. Given all the discussion that we have had over this year and change of us being in this format here, it is absolutely something that people need to be involved in, given the amount of griping concern that happens here. I guess griping may be a little ungenerous ways to put there, but the serious nature of the issues being brought up there, and particularly if you find yourself in opposition to the statement, as I do, that parents should have no input on what their kids get taught, which is just I'm not much of one to subscribe to a lot of theories that end up getting brought up around me, but that is a decently dystopian phrase. I'm not even going to lie. The idea that, I mean, sure, there are people taking it overboard, going out to school board meetings and that kind of things, and getting arrested, and I mean, maybe not, and not even totally justifiably in all of those cases getting that, but I mean, things have gotten a little bit out of hand. But then pushing back in the other direction, saying, and therefore parents have nothing to do, is, if I had a kid, that would be making me have a real knee-jerk of homeschooling or like cottage schooling in small groups kind of things pretty immediately here. So, point being that this search, more input is still available on there. A lot of interesting comments going on about elections here. I mean, this is the stuff we talk about, and so let's talk a little bit about what I'm thankful for this year here, because I am thankful that we've been doing this for more than a year now in this daily show format, because the fact that, you know, when I switched from, doing radio from TV, I was always kind of baffled that we didn't have this kind of presence in our area. Sure, we've got, the morning shows that happen, and they're great, but they're different, and they don't kind of serve this purpose of really getting into the issues. Those are really on one side of the infotainment scale in my mind, and they're great. I mean, I listen to them myself, but when it really comes to talking about the things that are important here, no one else is going to do it the way we do. So I'm thankful for each and every one of you that are out there that have participated in whatever way, even if it's just tuning in and maybe even just thinking a little bit more and then taking that to your friends and families about having these discussions, but particularly those who have, taken the step, called in, commented, participated in the show, and shown that, one of the largest cities in the country has an appetite for the discussion about its own issues and not just whatever comes down, and gets imposed upon us. I've been sick about that for a long time now, and it really just starts with talking about the local issues, what's important to us, and frankly, what can we do about them here? And particularly the commenters that we've got here, definitely thankful for, including John Brazelton saying, thankful that Joe Biden going down the tubes after he and his cronies did not do well in the election there. Ben Calvin Williams chiming in on that there. I mean, I don't subscribe to that particular theory, but I mean, I'm thankful I did not have to travel this holiday season, among other things. But for those that did, God bless and Godspeed. And the prices that have been a part of that have been an issue. And another reason we want to talk about these things is because it almost doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but in terms of the actual election and going to the ballot box, it almost doesn't matter why these things are happening. If this administration can't effectively address them and deal with them in a way to satisfaction, still going to take it in the shorts. They can be seen in every midterm within within this last political generation, frankly, of the issues that if you expend all of your political willpower on things that are major priorities for you and your party, sure, but don't really address for the everyday average person, it's not going to go well for you when it comes to that next election. So that's why as we come up on this midterm, it's very exciting for me to see what's going to be coming up, the issues that are going to be coming forward. We'll definitely be doing more interviews with some of our local and statewide officials, national if they come up, but primarily those ones that we're going to be voting on here within our area, because we've got the primaries coming up. We have got the general election coming up, March and November, respectively. So I'm thankful for all of this and the way we get to talk about it. And frankly, the great honor I have of being the one to facilitate this discussion, to talk about these issues and all of this. So, for each and every one out there, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving. I hope that you are able to connect with loved ones, spend it as you see fit, give back if you can, and don't forget to head out to some of those events going on, including the three missions, beer release and charity event that's going to be going on at 5 p.m. down there on Socorro Road on Friday. So, from the News Radio 690 KTSM studios, I've been your host, Andrew J. Polk. Thank you again to everyone who did tune in, call in, comment, participate in this show. We'll do it again starting next week with some replacement shows coming up here for the holiday, but we'll be back with new live programming on Monday. So from Talk El Paso to you and your family, hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and we'll talk with you all next week. A lot more issues to come up here, I'm sure, but just have a good one. Remember to keep things in perspective. That's a very important thing as well. Wonder therefore today. Just thankful for all of you. Really am. Just got to say that. We'll do it again next week here on Talk El Paso. Stay safe out there. Look twice for motorcycles when out on the road, and have a great holiday and weekend, y'all. Talk with you next week. And now for your Medicare moment with Eric with Advocate Health Advisors. What sets Advocate Health Advisors apart when it comes to working with veterans?
Well, Advocate Health Advisors has spent hundreds of hours learning about military benefits like VA, Champ VA, and TRICARE for Life. We do this to properly assist the veterans in choosing the correct fit in their Medicare plan and how it complements the military benefits that they already have. So these Medicare plan options that they have only enhance the benefits that they've already earned through the military.
And so to find out more information, you can call Eric, your local advisor, wherever you're hearing this broadcast, at 1-800-876-0214. That's 1-800-876-0214.
Traffic all day. News Radio 690.
Fire crews are on the scene for a medical emergency on George Dieter northbound at Les Peterson. Also, watch for a wreck on Montana Avenue. It's eastbound east of Trowbridge at Magruder, and another collision on Zaragoza at Don Haskins. Slowing from I-10 westbound from Geronimo to the Patriot Freeway. I'm Wendy Swanson, and that's a look at your El Paso traffic.
Hey folks, this is Andrew J. Polk. I'm all about local and El Paso